Hello, I think. Yes, okay. Um, so I saw a question on the RPG Maker forums about how to do a shop system, and since I've got one, I figured I'd do a little video and explain how it works. So this is the screen with the shop, main screen. I'll do a little demo of how it works first. Make sure it's not too loud. 20 should be fine. Let's find a good save. Okay, I'll have to head over to the shop. I don't have a save already there. Move my mouse in a second, I promise. Okay. So this is a shop. You've got items coming in. You've got people coming in. They buy stuff. Things get restocked. If I've set automation on. So I'll just turn some of that off. So now things, when they're bought, won't get put down. Yeah, so you do that manually like that. This shop has everything set, like each slot is one item, but it would be easy enough to change it to put anything down if you wanted to do that. Okay, how it works. Up here, this is what happens when you, hang on, I'll explain the blocks first. So up the top left, up in this section, this is all stuff that happens when you enter the screen, and stuff that happens passively while you're on the screen. This is all people and customers coming in down here. What's this one? Oh, that's for testing. You get extra money. This is like little cutscene markers. So this is stuff that happens when you level up. Some cutscenes can trigger, and then this is an event to set the NPC, and that gets moved to the door. So first, this is what happens when you come in. This is a switch that turns teleporting off, because if you leave while the shop's running, it can be a bit weird. It sets the BGM, erases any pictures, sets the correct tint. Now this is the interesting stuff. So this sets all the UI to be on, all the HUD that was up the top of the screen. That shows all the products. I'm using a Mog Hunter plugin to do that. And then an autosave down here. This is just blend modes for different objects. Global passive ticks. This is stuff that's happening in the background. Let me find that one. So every 5 frames you do a tick, and it does all this kind of time stuff for the game. So these are places where you can gather products ticking up outside the shop. Bar plant that will die if it's left too long. Rent income's happening here. Passive income from the tutorial shop here. Mana regen if you've unlocked that. And then this is another, basically the same thing, but it's in a separate event because it's its own thing where you're collecting stock dividends from owning post office stock. Now how the actual items work themselves. First we'll look at the first object, sure. So this is when there's nothing down and you have unlocked it, you see this, and you can put something down, take the item, play a sound, turn the switch on. And when this item is on, let's see our first customer. On the third page, this is all the customer logic. The first 2 pages are them waiting to come in. So it's a random variable of how long they'll be outside the shop, and then when that's done, they'll come in and this will play. So it sets the customer. So the bottom row is the logic for the customer, and the top row is the customer. This one is the old lady. I'll show you her sprite here. So when she's not on, when she's on, you see the old lady. You can talk to her. You got all that there. And the reason this is separate is so we can interact with the customer when they're in the shop. Because if I had all the logic on this, it would be nothing if we click them, because it would be all the logic running in the background. And then that's when they've left again. So on the third page here, the customer logic, they get set to the door, they move here. Whoops, sorry about that sound. Their opacity gets put back to 100 because it's 0 when they're back over here. Plays the door sound when they come in. Each customer has their own little sound that plays, so hers is cry 2. This affects her move speed depending on other stuff in the game. It's not really relevant here. She gets set to move up here. Now, I'm doing this just with default move settings, but you could use a move plugin like the Anfly, for example, to say move to X square, and I do that sometimes with other customers. Now that she's got to this first square where the product is, she checks if the product is there, which is here, if it's stocked in. If it is, she... What's this render amount? Oh, okay, this is actually a bad one to look at because it has a lot of weird logic. So I'll actually go look at the second one. Yeah, this is a bit simpler. So if she's here at the second square, after she's moved to the right, then we do another little check here. It checks if that item is on. She'll look at it, check the stock, get a little heart balloon if it is in stock. We get the coin sound. Variable goes up saying that someone's bought it. Her disappointment goes down, which is like the customers have a disappointment value in this game. If they do or don't buy something, that goes up or down. The stock turns off, and then we play a common event that is the sell price. And if the item isn't there and she wants it, we'll get a little anger thing, and her disappointment will go up. Now let's go look at that sell price common event. So here we go. This area here is all the product common events. The T sell price here. The price can vary, which is why it's in a common event, so I can quickly update all of them for all the customers at once. This is stuff to do with how many you've sold activates quests, but down here is the actual price itself. The lowest one, I think, is the default. Yeah, so this is the default one. So it changes the gold you get. I use gold income as XP in this game, so we also change the XP. And then it has the tax, because we have tax in this game. The cost, these are mostly stats here, so we keep track of all these stats in a book so we can look at them later. I'll show that in a second. But we have the unprocessed tax, the total cost we've spent on this product, the total revenue we've got from selling the product, and the total profit we've got from selling the product. And then we have a tax update, a common event as well, and a variable update as well, because to make the HUD variable show the new XP, we have to, here we go, so we have to just manually set the variable to our XP. So we do that there. Now I will go show the tax. No, the book, I wasn't showing the tax, I was showing the stats that I was just talking about. So here we go. So that was the second product, which is the fermented tea. And we can see here that it shows how much we've sold, the total cost, revenue, and profit. And there's some extra info about that. So that's only 2 in so far. I'll show a bit more. So we go down to the next item, the third item, and she will never buy that. Now, you could, if you're doing random items, instead of doing the logic I've done, you could say, you could just have it like be completely random. You could say, is there an item there? And then do like a say 1 to 5. If it's 1 or 2, I'll buy it. If it's 3, 4, 5, I won't buy it. You could do it that way, but I prefer this way because it's more satisfying to me to know what a customer will get, so I can kind of plan what I'm going to put down. But in this case, she'll look at it, just have silence because she doesn't care, and she'll move on to the next one, rinse, repeat until she finds something she likes. 9 is the last item, so after that, we just have a move route sending it back out the shop, and then we set the customer's leaving switch. The next page has all that logic, so we say close the door, set the opacity back to 0, put her location back on the side, turn her off. The customer leaving switch turns off as well, which is this page. And most customers don't have this, but this character can die, so we have a little... She will never come in if that switch is on. And that's the gist of it. And then to acquire items, it's completely variable. For that first item, we just buy it. So you buy it here. And it goes up in the top left. People are buying that. The speed of the things getting put down can be increased so that they will never be a gap. But yes, there's a lot more going on under the hood, but I hope that's at least helped a little bit. I might be back on a bit later, but for now, goodbye.